Welcome to South Asia. This is J. Reddy, your presenter at South Asia. South Asia is an educational channel that brings the knowledge of South Asia in the form of South Asia maps, icons and images for our audience, the Indian heritage and culture from South Asian regions in the maps. And today's topic of our discussion is the mighty Sindhu river or Indus river. And if you are following me on other social media channels, please go to the main YouTube channel. You can type South Asia maps plus J Reddy and you will see lot of videos posted there, nearly 90 videos or so, organized for your convenience into various playlists like Jammu Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Railways, Vijayanagara Empire, and my musings and reflections and the treaties, India and battles, the districts of India and districts of Pakistan, Bangladesh, Punjab history, Punjab region and current politics, and India under imperialisms, Mughal Empire, miscellaneous chapters, Hyderabad and Nizam, central provinces, Madhya Pradesh, Madhya Bharat, Kerala, Bombay Presidency, Madras Presidency, Deccan region, and so many interesting playlists. I will continue to add more. Each video is made for your pleasure, intellectual learning, intellectual curiosity for intellectual chatriyas of 30 to 40 minutes by painstaking effort for your convenience. Please subscribe and make our channel known to your friends and colleagues. Excuse me for my allergies. And today's topic of discussion is the mighty Indus River or Sindhu River. After completion of this topic, you will get a very fascinating view of Indus River, the events, the history and the geographical regions most of the time of that particular part of the world. Because the Indus River system, Sindhu River system, Sindhu Darya are now mostly in control of Muslims, so Pakistan, that are our alienated brothers essentially, Punjabis, Sindhis, Baluchis, Brahuis and Pashtuns and Kashmiris who are alienated from their native motherland due to conversion-based militant aggressive creed of Islamic theology, so we call them alienated brothers. And that is about the river Indus system. After completion of this topic, you will get a fascinating idea about the Nile River, Amazon River, and the amount of the water that flows in this river system. This is a very important river. Length of the river, the source of the river, this is the mouth of the river where the river joins, and this is the river, this is the right hand of the river. You will see the right hand, the tributaries of river like Shayok and Nubra, Gilzit and Hunza, excuse me, and of course the Kabul and Gomal and Job, all those rivers. And this is the left bank of the river, the major tributary like Janskar and Son River in the Potwar Plateau and Panjnad and so on. And finally the river joining the mouth, that is called Sindhu River, joins Sindhu Sagar. That is generally in Indian system are told by alienated leaders, intellectuals, as Arabian Sea. But if you go to our historical heritage, it is always mentioned as Sindhu Mahasagar, Ganga Mahasagar here, and Hindu Mahasagar. That is in brief about what you will get after this presentation. I also pointed out the historic Sindhu province. These are some of the districts during the British time, the British India, when Sindh region was a part of a division of Bombay Presidency that was governed from the island of Bombay near Salsette Island of Bombay. That has like Sindh division and Gujarat division and Konkan division, Desh division, Khandesh division, Carnatic division like Bijapur and Belgavi, Karwar and Dharwar, those regions. So I have shown here with a particular purpose. Why? Because this downstream part of Indus river system gave the name to this region, that is Sindh region, Sindh province. Originally this is the Sindh, and Persians were our brothers. At that time they were not converts of Islam, they are Zoroastrian people. They were not aggressive or conversion based ideology like Islam and Christianity. They called people living in the region based upon Sindh river as a Hind. Hind is, so eventually the name Hind became Hindustan. Stan is a generic term used for a land. They call everybody living here Hindustan. Hindustan is a broader term. Sindh river and Hind. Hind and Sindh are similar. And when the Europeans came to know about us through Persians, because Persia was the land between a broader empire between India and Europe, the Greeks were the intellectual leaders of Europe at that time, they pronounced Hind as Indus. So the name India came into existence. The local name, even the religion of the people living here in this area called Hinduism, that is the term used by the foreigners, now accepted by Indians. Nothing wrong with it, just to keep you track of what is the importance of Sindhu. The local name for river is Sindhu, Sindhu Nadi. Because of the converts of Muslims live here, they will call it Sindhu Darya. Darya means a river in Persian. Sindhu Darya is Sindhu river. In Sanskrit based the languages like Punjabi, Sindhi and Kashmiri so on is called Nadi or river. Sindhu Nadi or Sindhu Darya. So it has a lot of historical, cultural and religious significance. That's why I have depicted the Sindh region here for your convenience. Put the things in perspective. This is Delhi Indraprastha. This is Sutlej river, one of the tributaries of Panjnad rivers. Other tributary being Chenab. Ludhiana, historic Ludhiana district, which was under British control in the Sutlej region, I have depicted here for your convenience. So you can have. And this is the northern Kashmir, southern Kashmir districts like Anantnag, Verinag and Kanabal, Ganderbal, Pulwama, Ular and Kupwara, Bandipur, Baramulla, Uri, all those regions in the valley of Kashmir for your convenience with reference to Sindhu river, which I depicted in green color here. When you talk about Sindhu, you should always remember one thing, that is the historic city of Attock. Attock city is on the Sindhu river. Crossing the Attock city means you are entering in the Pathan areas or Pashtun speaking areas. It is just across where river Kabul falls into Sindhu river. Here the blue dot is the famous Tarbela Dam that was built by Pakistan, Topi and Haripur here, and this region is a historic Hazara district between river Jhelum and river Indus. The surrounding area west is called Swabi area or Kohistan mountainous area. So you have Attock district here, Srinagar here, Ludhiana here, Delhi here, Sindhu here, and the Kabul city in Afghania, where the Kabul river arises. There is and all those things I have depicted here. Excuse me. Let's discuss about the Sindhu river or Indus river after these things were put to you in broader context or perspective. If you look at the South Africa, the entire Africa, round about 12,000 kilometers or so from the Cape Town to Cairo, half of that is nothing but Nile River. The length of the Nile River is 6,500 kilometers. Length of Amazon River is also about the same. Why I said the same means it's difficult to say where the river starts, how do you count the river, so it is always a broader idea. So if you read in Wikipedia, you will get different answers. So you should not get confused about it. It is a generic term, so you should not be picky also. Nile River or Amazon River is Amazon River almost take for example, this is you cannot see it further here, South America. Amazon River is almost from one end of from Colombia to Brazil. If you just cross the Andes mountains and extend it little bit, it's almost coast to coast, Pacific to Atlantic. That is 6,500 kilometers. Same as the Nile River, 6,500 kilometers. Just half of the length, that is round about 3,200 kilometers, you will get Sindhu River. Here I has given the length as a 3,180 kilometers from the Wikipedia. But again, this is a broader idea. You remember Amazon River, you remember Nile River, that is 6,500 or 6,400, and half of it, 3,200, that is the length of Sindhu River from Kailash region or Manas Sarovar lake to Sindh Sagar. We can say Karachi. Some branches of the river join at Karachi or Kutch region. Kutch to Kailash, that is 3,200 kilometers the length of river. How much the length, how does it matter means I will give you an idea so that you can have. From Balochistan end to the Assam end or Arunachal Pradesh, round about 4,200 kilometers length maximum. From Maharaja Hari Singh's territory, Kashmir to and Kanyakumari is around about 3,500 kilometers or so. That means instead of 3,500, you make 3,200. That means if you start, let's say, the river, if you make it a straight line, start from Kashmir or even Ular Lake above or Kargil and just make a straight line, the river just goes below Kanyakumari. That is the length of the river. You can remember Sindhu River. That is the largest river in South Asia region. Excuse me. And Ganga river system. When you say Ganga river system, again the complication comes. There is a Ganga river that joins Brahmaputra river, that joins Meghna river. So where is the Ganga river ends? And again is a question, and again it is a concept that has a broader implications. That is a little bit, I think, less than Sindhu river or maybe a few hundred kilometers. When you talk about that, I will get back to that. Essentially, this is the largest river. If you make a straight line from Karakoram mountains to Kanyakumari, it will end somewhere near Tiruchirappalli. Or if you start from Srinagar, it will cut through Kanyakumari town and go even below Hindu Mahasagar, the region. That's the point you have to keep in mind about the Indus River. So the Nile River is 6,500 kilometers. Amazon River is 6,400 kilometers. Yeah, Ganga, Brahmaputra and Ganga, Brahmaputra region and Meghna. This is around about 3,900, means 4,000 kilometers or so, little higher. And Sindhu River, here the source of the Sindhu River here is the Kailash region, that is a mountainous region. We have a Tibet plateau here, Tibet region. Historic Tibet was an independent country, and when Nehru, pusillanimous leaders of Congress ruled Delhi, that was and conquered by the Chinese, gone into the communist control. It's a buffer state between India, British India, and Qing Empire, that is the pre-communist regime or empire that ruled China for a lot of years. So the Kailash mountains and Manasarovar lake is the origin. Nearby also the Sutlej river also originates. The river cuts through and it cuts there is a mountains here east of this river called Ladakh mountains. It cuts the Ladakh mountains, comes to the west side of the Ladakh mountains and moves through. There is a town called Ladakh, that is before Janskar river joins here. Ladakh river continues and it continues. It gets a major tributary called Shiok or Nubra. After that there is a town called Skardu. Skardu and Ladakh are on Sindhu river system. And this is the Janskar river, major tributary. In fact, Janskar brings more water at this junction, that is few kilometers downstream of Ladakh town. That is now a used to be an important region in Maharaja Hari Singh Dogra territory. Now is a union territory, a subdivision of India. And the river continues, Skardu, and gets the major tributary called Gilzit, that all gets before that Hunja river and Giza river, that is the Giljit river. That Giljit river joins here. There is a town called Bunji, and here there is a mighty mountains called Nanga Parbat mountains. How big are the mountains? Some of the peaks are round about more than 8,000 kilometers. What does it mean? Means if you say near Kunur, just a few kilometers south of Ooty or Udagamandalam, in the Nilagiris, that's the Blue Mountains, a district adjoining to Coimbatore district in the Congo Nadu region of Tamil Nadu, that's round about 2,000 meters above sea level, 2 kilometers above sea level. That is 4 times, that is the Nanga Parbat. That is the very highest mountain. Highest peak in India between Anai Malai and Himalayas is somewhere between Guru Shikhar in the Shirohi district, that is in the Aravalli mountains, that is 1710 meters. That means even less than 2000 kilometers. So you can imagine the rivers skits that Nanga Parvat. There is a gorge called Indus gorge or Sindhu gorge. Because of that, the river takes the western and even southerly direction here. So we have a Skardu town here and Bunji town here. This is a Kailash, that is close to Nanga Parbat region, and it crosses a town called Sazin. That used to be, there is a town called Sazin somewhere here, Sazin. That Sazin town was used to be in Maharaja Gulab Singh Dogra's territory, who was the predecessor of Maharaja Hari Singh Dogra, who 1947 October merged the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir to the dominion of India. So it crosses Sazin and enters into the Pashtun and tribal speaking areas and goes to the mountainous region. Here is called Kohistan Mountains. West side is called Swabi region. Right side is called Hazara region. And now it is dammed at a place called Topi, north of Islamabad or Rawalpindi, maybe 100 kilometers or 80 kilometers or so, and Haripur on other town. That is the way rivers start descending into Punjab plains very rapidly. Still is not in the Punjab plain. And it gathers the Kabul river here. The name of the river itself is Kabul. That is parallel to the historic Khyber Pass. And after Kabul river, few kilometers down, this is Attak town. And it is also Attak Attak district. I have shown this Attak district here. That is next to the Rawalpindi district here. So Attak district and Rawalpindi district, Zeelam district, and the Jhelum district and Shahpur district or Sargodha district were historic Rawalpindi division in the British Punjab that survived nearly 100 years from 1849 to 1947. So those are the important districts and culturally, historically very important. All the aggressors, Musalman rulers, crossed, came to Indus plains, Gangetic plains, crossing Sindhu river at Attak. This is the crossing point of the river. So the river goes and it gathers other tributaries like Gomal and Job and all those things. The major important thing is after that here there is a Balochistan plateau region. Between the Balochistan plateau, now the river enters into Punjab plains at a place called Kalabagh. That is in the Mian Valley district of Paschim Punjab. That is the two Punjabs, right? East Punjab is in our country and East Punjab, and Paschim Punjab is under Musalman control. That is Darul Islam, and the rest of the region is Darul Harb. Himachali Punjab and Haryanvi Punjab and Punjabi Punjab, that is Purbi Punjab, Paschim Punjab. There are so many Punjabs, and I have made an exclusive video. You can look at under Punjab geography or Punjab history. You will know a lot about this. At Kalabagh, actually, the river joins the Indus plains or Punjab plains. We can say Attok also it starts, but there is a Potwar plateau between Attak and Kalabagh. Kalabagh is just close to the Potwar plateau in the Mian Valley districts across Isakel town. So the river gets a major tributary. This is very, very important. Lot of people think Sindhu river or Punjab is land of 5 rivers. The 5 tributaries of Sindhu river or Indus river. Actually, there are more tributaries that, but historically we call Panj Nadi or Panjnad. All the 5 tributaries join together form Panjnad, but major tributaries are Chenab and Sutlej. Sutlej before that gathers Bias, and Chenab gathers Jhelum and Ravi. So 3 rivers here with Chenab, 2 rivers with Sutlej. Now we have only 2 rivers here. Chenab river, Sutlej river form Panjnad at a place called Uchsari for Alipur, that is across the Bahawalpur princely state of British India, or Bahawalpur district. Now it is in the Rahimyar Khan and so on. Essentially, this is across the Multan region, or Multan district will be somewhere here. Multan district and Bahawalpur district and Bahawalnagar here, Rahimyar Khan here, and there are Ghazi Khan district here. Now they have many districts, Rajanpur, Ranjan and so on. So in Pakistan. And we have Panjnad, right? Panjnad river essentially major tributary of Sindhu river is the left-hand tributary of Sindhu river. This is the right-hand tributary, is left-hand tributary. Other major left-hand tributaries of Sindhu was Janskar in the Indian territory that joins Sindhu river south of few kilometers downstream of town of Ladakh, which sits on the Sindhu river across the Indus Valley there. Panjnad is others, the west side tributary or left-hand tributary, and Panjnad joins Sindhu river at a place called Mithan Kot or Kot Mithan, that is the generally considered the terminal point of Punjab historic, but the Punjab continues for a few more kilometers. The river enters into the Sindh region. Sindhi speaking region or Vicholi speaking region, Thari people here, Kachi people here. This is a dialectual continuum where the people speak Sindhi language and a variant of Sindhi languages. Actually, now the border between Paschim Punjab and Sindh, the river Sindhu or Indus enters into Sindhi territory at a place called Kashmir. I should have spelled here, I didn't write it. Kashmir should not be confused with Kashmir. Kashmir is Jammu Kashmir princely state. Kashmir is spelt little differently, and I have made a separate video about Kashmir and Kashmir, the difference. Especially the Kashmir is the starting point in Sindh. That means the Indus River enters into Sindh province at Kashmir, that is now in a district called Kandkot. Historically, it was in the frontier district, Jacobabad. I have mentioned some of the historical districts here because you should be aware. When the militant creed of Islam was established in Mecca and enforced by the sword-armed men of Muhammad, and within couple of years, Arab Muslims, and intoxicated by this militant ideology, start attacking the Buddhist and Hindu and lands. Round about 700, the Umayyad Caliphs sent a lot of expeditions to the land and ocean, and Muhammad bin Qasim conquered this area, Al-Hind. At that time, it was under the rule of Maharaja Dakhir. That's why the Sindh, loss of Sindh to Islam is a major point, and eventually at partition time we lost it permanently to Islamic imperialism due to cowardice leadership of the Congress party in India. And the historic Tharparkar district bordering the Kucha region of Gujarat and Jaisalmer and Barmer and Jalore district here, they speak a language called Thari, are close to Marwar. This is the Marwar region. This is the Bikaner will be here. This is the Bahawalpur, the princely state of Kairpur, and north will be Sukar, now it's called Gotki district. Frontier district is Jacobabad. It is the entry point during the British time to the Bolan Pass and Quetta and Kazakh Pass and Kandahar. The railway line was also built, and important cantonment area, frontier town. Larkana district, west side of Sindhu, is the homeland of Bhuttos, and Dadu district the is very important, and Karachi district here, and Hyderabad district, that is Hyderabad in Sindh province, historic city, and also the capital of Talpur Nawabs, who ruled a lot of time before they were defeated by Charles Napier, almost at the time of the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in 1842 and so on. So when you see Sindh river, now you also the lot of districts here. That will be, if you keep this in memory, then further discussions or any talking about the region's history will be very fascinating, because you now know a lot of places. Tharparkar district, Hyderabad district, Nawab Shah district, and there are a lot of sub-districts, districts, we need not worry, I am giving a broader idea. Nawab Shah district, also called Shanghar district, and Khairpur district, Ghotki and Jacobabad, Larkana, Dadu and Karachi. The river falls into Sindh Sagar. Near Karachi to Kutch, lot of delta is formed, and this is the Indus Delta. That means it joins Sindh Sagar, Arabian Sea, and Run of Kutch. Some of the distributaries of the river joins the Run of Kutch, and that is a very important thing. So Sindh river is 3180 kilometers long, half of almost Nile river. Amazon river rises around about 4000 kilometers above the mean sea level. In the Sindh Sagar, that is sea level, that means 4 kilometers. In the Kailash Manas Sarovar region, it goes to the towns of Ladakh before Janskar river joins, and Skardu after Sayok river joins. Then it goes to a town called Dasu and Besham at Sazin in Maharaja Gulab Singh Dogra's territory. It leaves the historic Kashmir region and goes to a town called Swabi here, then Attak. At that place it started descending into Punjab plains. It completely joins the Punjab plains at Kalabagh. That means the river will be at that time less than 250 meters above sea level. I don't remember what is the mean sea level of Kalabagh, but in general Lahore will be around about 150 meters or so. You can say almost similar, you can say 250 meters or so. Then goes to the town of Dai Khan. This is the Dai Khan will be somewhere here, Kalabagh will be below Attak somewhere here. Then the Bakkar town will be east side, this is called Sindh Sagar Doab. West side is called Dera Wal region or Dera Jat region. That then it enters into excuse me, Sindh area at Kashmir, goes to the towns, twin cities or twin towns Sukar and Rohi. Further streams down, goes to the twin cities Hyderabad, Kotri, and some of the branches merge into Sagar at Karachi, some merge into Kutch region. The left hand tributaries of are Janskar River, and in the Potwa region there is a Son River here. Then the Panjnad is the major tributary. Panjnad here in the Bahawalpur region, and Son in the Potwa region and Panjnad region, and Gaggar and Hakra are the rivers that separate Haryanvi Punjab and Malwa of Punjab and used to flow into Indus River long back. Now they are seasonal in a sense, they merge somewhere, they don't flow, but historically even the Luni River used to flow there. Now it flows into Run of Kutch. So in that region the Luni is also mentioned just for technical regions. Gaggar and Hakra and Janskar, these are the left hand tributaries of river. Janskar, Son, Panjnad, Gaggar and Hakra. Luni River starts in the west of Aravalli Mountains, goes to Sirohi district and Jalore district, Barmer district, Balotra, and near Banaskantha region. It touches and joins Kutch, Run of Kutch, that is a wetland, seasonal wetland. The right hand tributaries or east side tributaries are Shayok River here that gathers Nubra already. Then you have Hunza River, Giljit, and then you have Swat River that joins Kabul itself, Swat River and Kunar River and Kabul. Then the Kurram and Gomol and Job. Then Sindh Sagar, Arabian Sea, Run of Kutch, Sea, Indus Delta, Kori Creek. There is a Kori Creek here. It also joins Kutch region, Kori region, and Indus Delta region. Let's go and look at the most important amount of the water the river carries in compared to the global system. This is very important. In future, we talk about the Hindu-Muslim relations, Darul Harb, Darul Islam relations, Indus Water Treaty, global water crisis, drying of the planet, and ecological changes. All these things will play very, very important role. That's why if you study the society and culture in deeper aspect, you will get broader understanding of that. If you follow my videos painstakingly made for you, you will also get a different thinking, because this is the channel of intellectual Kshatriyas. You will be a very good thinker and eventually perhaps the original thinker, and start formulating the idea and getting the audience and to your opinion. So this is the discharge of the river at various points in cubic meters. This is the hydrologists or engineers. They will be worried about cusecs or cubic meters. You need not worry about it. There is a very easy way. If you understand this, you will get broadly what is that, and you will be considered an expert if you start talking about this even in normal public conversations. I will tell you the easy point. Remember, Amazon River pumps humongous amount of water into the ocean. How much water it pumps, sir? It is cubic meters. Just remember units, MMM. 2 lakh units it pumps. That is the largest a river can pump into the ocean. Amazon is 2 lakh. Next river that pumps water is 40,000. That is river Congo in the Africa, central part of Africa, next to Uganda and all those countries. Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna, all these together pump almost the same. Why did I say almost? There is a difference, but you can remember broadly. So it is 2 lakh here, and Congo is 40, and you can say Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna also 40 but 38. That is a minor difference. And remember, Ganga is a very broad river. Ganga, Brahmaputra, 38. Again, Ganga itself may be pumping round about 19 or so, and Brahmaputra almost same, 19, around about 38, right? It makes sense. So, broader idea. So, 2,40,000 and Ganga system and 40,000. Congo and Ganga system almost the same. Indus is 6,000, 6,600. You have 2 lakh here, 40,000, 38,000 and 6,600. Godavari, the prominent river in South India, is 3,500. Krishna is 2,200 and Narmada is, we can say, around about 1,500. Other minor river in South India, Andhra Pradesh, Penna is 500. You remember, if you live in Andhra Pradesh, Penna 500 rupees it has, and Indus river system has 6,500, Ganga river system has nearly 38,000 rupees, and Congo has 38,000 rupees, and Amazon river carries 2 lakh rupees. You get a broader idea. Narmada is round about 1,500 rupees, Godavari is round about 3,500 rupees. If you get this broader idea, you will get a clarity and you will be considered an expert in the river system. You are not just doling out to the audience the length and the height. You are now in deeper understanding of the system itself, the culture, the land, the people who live here, geographical history and heritage, and so on. Here I will show the same thing in little more detail, so that this I gathered from Wikipedia, the average display of the Indian systems, because that was not high resolution. Here it gives a better resolution, and you can get it from Wikipedia, but I have put it for your convenience here. You can stop the video and see. This is the Indus river system. You see the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna rivers pump 38,000 cubic meters. You remember 38,000. Then the Indus alone pumps 6,600 units. Then Godavari is 3,500 units and Krishna 2,200 units. And you can see the Penna river is 200. I thought it's 500, but it's 200. That does not matter. You remember 200 Penna river here. And that is about in India. And what is about in the world? In the world, I have given the same from the Wikipedia. You have the Amazon river that pumps 2 lakh cubic meters of water. Congo river here that pumps round about, you can see the Congo river here, 4,200 cubic meters, and Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna delta is 3,800, and other rivers we are not that much interested. In a sense, you remember, in the planet Earth, Amazon pumps more water, that is 200K, that is 2 lakh, and Congo and Brahmaputra, Indus, Ganga almost pumps the same, 40,000. Indus river system pumps 6,000 plus. And this is very important when we discuss about the water crisis coming in the planet Earth and so on. So this gives you a broader perspective. Then what did we discuss today? Sir, I talked about the mighty Indus river or Sindhu river for my audience today. We compared it to the Nile river, that is around about 6,500 kilometers, Amazon the same. Half of that is nothing but Indus river. If you put the Indus river on one side above Srinagar and make it a straight line from here to here, and it will just penetrate, go down the Kanyakumari, still maybe 50 kilometers or so will be there, the river will be flowing. That is almost one end of India. If it's the Karakoram mountains here and Kashmir, Kanyakumari here is almost 3,300 kilometers. It will be the similar that you have to keep in mind. Sindhu river itself is that is 30 to 100 kilometers, half of Nile or Amazon. Rises around about 4000 kilometers or Kailash Manasarovar region, goes through the Ladakh town, Skardu town, Dasu town, Beshan town, and at Sazin it crosses Kashmiri territory, that is Maharaja Gulab Singh Dogra's territory, goes to the town Swabi, and there is before it goes to Swabi, there will be Tarbela Dam near Topi town or Haripur town, west of Rawalpindi, then goes to historic Attak city, descends into the Punjab plains at Kalabagh, touches the D.I. Khan, Dera Ismail Khan and Bakar towns, and enters into Sindh province at place called Kashmir, south of Maitan at Sukar. Rokri town goes through Hyderabad, Kotri towns and near Karachi. The left-hand tributaries like Janskar and Son in Potwa, Rawalpindi region, Panjnad, 5 rivers, and Gagar and Hakra historic rivers, and right-hand tributary like Shayok River, Hunja, Gilgit, Swat regions, and Sindh Sagar, Arabian Ocean, Run of Kutch, Delta, Kori Creek, and so on. If the Amazon River pumps 2 lakh water, and Congo and Indus Ganga river system pumps 40,000, Sindhu river pumps 6.6 or 6,000 plus water into the river. Remember, this is assuming the water is not diverted. Again, how much water it pumps depends upon where you put the water gauge that measures the water outflow. Because now the water is diverted in many places. Suppose if you block all these rivers, and if you put a water gauge near Sucker here and measure it, you won't get that amount we talked about. So there is a lot of complexity involved. What we are assuming, if all the tributaries are unblocked, irrigation dams are dismantled, and rivers start flowing normally, that's the amount of the water that flows into the river. That was around about 100, 200 years back we are projecting and looking. That you have to keep in mind. If you go and put the in Hyderabad and the town, you won't get 6,000 units of water per second cubic meter. That won't happen. But this is the broader idea you keep in mind. This is your presenter J. Reddy at South Asia Maps. Today I brought you topic on Indus River. So previously I talked extensively on the tributaries of Indus, like I discussed about the Bias River, Sutlej River, and Chenab River, Zeelam River, and all those. And now the Indus, that means major river systems of Punjab plains, is completed. Each of those fascinating presentations are at your convenience put at my channel, that is your intellectual Kshatriya channel, South Asia Maps. Google the YouTube and you can go there and spend time. You will get a very great information where you can articulate your friends or your co-workers, colleagues, or if you're an aspirant for any civil service exam, and if you bring those topics in the presentation or in the during the interviews, you will be considered a very knowledgeable person, and people will love you, respect you. You will get audience, and you will clinch the interview also. You have to spend time to learn those things. If you don't spend the time, there is no quick way that you will get the knowledge. That is in brief about our fascinating mighty Sindhu river, Indus river, where great ancient sages did penance. But finally, that fascinating land of ours was bartered to Islamic gangsters by the Congress, covered as Congress leadership in 1947, when the Muslim League unsheathed their talwar called Saiful Islam and start brandishing it in the streets of Naukali, Calcutta, Rawalpindi, Kohat. Congress leadership was simply benumbed, scared. They just ran away and gave the 5 provinces. This is very, very important. Lot of people will talk of the river, only tell about the river, the length and all these things. That's only a small aspect. Entire thing fixed into a story. The point is that great river on which great rishis, Mahārshis get tapas is not in our control now. This is under the occupation of Islam, the gangster ideology, gangsterism, as Acharya Sitaram Goel calls it, a militant ideology under the garb of religion. You have to study it in detail. That is very, very important. That topic is very relevant when you talk about Sindhu river, when you talk about the Indus river, that is there controlled by them. Even the first resolution to separate India was passed by Sindh Assembly, that is the name Indus river gave to that province. In 1937, Sindh Assembly passed resolution, Muslim League control was there, that they want certain regions of India separated as a Pakistan. That is also very, very important. All these events are interconnected. If you have a deeper knowledge of the culture, society, people, land, history, you can pin all these together and put a good puzzle. That's why I am bringing this point to you. That is in brief about the Indus River, and this is your presenter, J. Reddy, and we'll see you in the next presentation very soon. Please subscribe our channel and encourage it. Thank you very much. See you later.